For all you guys at home that are currently beating on your own slabs of meat, Eye of the Tiger by Savior. Welcome to 1330 RnX Talk Radio, your number one source for news, talk, current events, and gaming-related content. Broadcasting live from behind our professional mics in our secret extra subterranean studio located in the bowels of our hidden Rebel base. This is your humble host, Rebel, in the box today with the angry Canadian who's real sorry if he's gone and offended you, Jer, 1305. And Dark Shadows, because honestly, is there any other kind? And O'Hallahan, the Miracle Man, Chan. We've got an interesting show for you tonight. Lots of good topics to cover, but we'll start with clan-related news. Phone app, gentlemen. The phone app is coming out and is already on the Play Store. Individuals that want to continue beta testing the phone app need to uninstall the current APK, go back to the Play Store and reinstall it. It's only available in the United States and in Canada at this time. As we recruit members outside of that area, we'll expand. I know we typically have other countries involved in our little community, so we'll figure that out as we get there. Private Messenger is something that we are going to bring up in that application, but that's a current work in progress. You are going to need your web credentials to sign on with the phone application. If you don't have website credentials at www.rednexclan.com, then it's going to give you a link to the application page to apply to be a member of RedNeX Clan. So recruits, you can go to either one of those two places. We're also thinking about looking at Skype, phasing that out for the majority of the clan when it comes to clan-related meetings that will happen on Sundays, guys. You know, the Sunday meetings. The leaders are we're going to go into Skype and we're going to, hammer out the details of what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to try out this program called Zoom. We only have 40 minutes per meeting in Zoom, guys, so y'all are going to have to, get your gaggle unfucked and get in there and let us talk to you and then get out.
Oh.
Zoom is what is... Say what?
Fuck.
I don't fucking care.
Okay.
It's got free audio, video, call-in, computer. It's recordable. It's going to be interesting. Okay, on to current events. Who's got a current event?
Well, in the way of entertainment, if anybody hasn't heard of PlayStation View, they should definitely give it a look. If you're paying for DirecTV or Dish or any kind of TV-based subscription plan, the PlayStation View is a lot cheaper way to go. Compared to $50 a month on your basic DirecTV or any other TV plan like that, PlayStation View starts at $30 with no commitment. You cancel whenever you want. All your channels, they share the same channels from DirecTV to Dish, all your major providers, Discovery Channel, all your sports. You pay $5 more a month, you can get all the sports channels included, so $35 if you're a big sports fan. I would definitely check out PlayStation View. Another $10 and you get all these weird channels, not real sure what they are. You've got a BET if you're into black entertainment television.
What about premium channels like HBO and Showtime and Skinamax?
Well, now the only premium channels they offer at this time would be Showtime and Epix. I have heard that they're trying to get other standalone channels on. They're also trying to get local TV channels on. Some places already have some local channels. That way you don't have to switch back to your rabbit ears and see what's on the news. They have plenty of news channels, MSN, NBC, Fox News. Keep up with all the current stuff there. If you have kids, they have a lot of friendly kid channels, Nickelodeon, Nicktoons, Disney Junior, Disney Family. It's just a lot cheaper way, more a better way to save money if you're paying all this money for Dish and DirecTV, because I know that their plans start at $50 a month, and you get all the channels that they have for $30 with no commitment.
Now, is that based in the United States?
As far as I know, it's only in the United States.
Okay.
I was reading some stuff earlier about it. People are asking for it to come to Canada. But as of now, as far as I know, it's only in the United States. And there's only certain devices you can stream from. Of course, your PS3 and PS4, you can watch it directly off of your system. Another option would be the Roku streaming device. You can plug it up to any TV in your room. Your PS4 media remote interfaces really well into it. And they offer Chromecast, which you can stream from also, and any Amazon Fire device, the TV stick, and for some odd reason iPhone and iPad, but not Android yet. They're trying to get Android on the ball so that you can use the Android app to also watch it. And you can have multiple links up at once. You can be watching on your PlayStation 4, your Amazon Fire, and your Roku at once. But in turn, if you have more than one PlayStation 4 in the room, you can only stream from one PlayStation 4 at a time.
So that'd be something to keep an eye on here in Canada. And we have outrageous prices for it.
And it is only $9 more to add Showtime. If you're into watching a lot of movies, they try to keep you up to date with their Showtime movies.
Now,
they have a. Go ahead.
Is there like a option, you know, let's say you're into a series and you're not home at that time, could you set it up that it'll save your hard drive on your PS4?
Like a DVR?
You can't save it to your hard drive. They do have a DVR. Any show that that is live, or any new episode that they add to, because what it is, it's all live. Like if you're watching AMC on DirecTV or Dish, it is the same exact AMC schedule as what is on the View. So you have 28 days from the time that it aired to watch it. You can go back and watch it. You can favorite your shows. You can favorite channels also by pushing L1, I think it is, and it'll add it to your favorites. So if you say The Walking Dead comes on AMC, you're not going to be able to watch it for a couple days. If you have that in your liked shows or your liked channel, you can actually go back and watch any of the episodes you missed up to 28 days, and then they get rid of them. But it's not like DirecTV. Now I know DirecTV, I'm pretty sure you can save stuff on your DVR and it'll stay there till you delete it. That's not how the PlayStation View works. You do have a set time limit to watch your shows. And they have a 7-day free trial, so anybody wants to try it out and see if they like it, it's a 7-day free trial. Straight off PlayStation Store.
And you know, if any of our viewers does do the 7-day trial, comments somewhere and let us know what thoughts are. Give it a little rating on our.
Yeah, just drop it in the comments section or something. Let us know what you think about PlayStation View. Now, Dark, weren't you saying something about Resident Evil 7 has a demo out on the PlayStation Store right now?
Resident Evil 7 does have a demo right now. Standalone, it is not anything that has to pertain to the game. They have released that in their own notes. But they're just showing how the gameplay is going to be. It's going to be a search, you know, take your time, slow-paced game, as far as I can tell. Very scary game. Very dark.
A lot of jump scares.
Have you played this?
A lot of jump scares. I have. I've played the demo 3 different times. There's multiple endings in this demo. I would suggest you try to play all the endings out, and you have to think. It's almost like a Tomb Raider style. There's puzzles involved,
Well, I know a lot of
which is
people that played the Resident Evil games. Their big complaint was some of the newer titles got away from the survival horror aspect and got more into the action thing. And
it definitely went straight back to survival horror
oh, good.
to the fullest, as far as it could go. Uh, Way more survival horror, I think, than the very first Resident Evil was, and that was my favorite Resident Evil.
The Mansion. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that was a good one.
And they have hinted. There's only one hint I've seen, but there is a hint of Umbrella Corp. So they haven't released any more information about it. They're trying to keep it, a surprise for when they release. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is junk because there's no zombies and there's nothing like that." It still ties into the timeline. I mean, I don't know exactly where in the timeline, but they haven't just completely strayed away from Resident Evil in the story. It is in there. They've ran it a completely different direction.
Okay.
Which I'm interested to see how it's going to come out.
Now, I know that they have a thing out now that is specifically focused on the Umbrella Corporation. I know our friends over there at DSR have some reviews on that on their YouTube. So if you're curious about that, they've covered that pretty extensively. So you guys ought to go check that out. But watching that stream that they were doing, it really looks like it's a third-person over-the-shoulder kind of view until you go to aim down your sights, and then it turns into a first-person shooter situation. So,
Does it jump right into first person?
When
Like
you
when you aim third person to first person?
It's third-person straight into first-person during ADS, aim down sight.
Ah.
Yeah,
That
so
is all I had in entertainment today, though.
all right, Mr. Chan, the cameraman, where'd you go?
On the bookshelf.
What do you got for us?
All right, I have found an interesting note online, rumors that exist of the fact that and for Battlefield, there may be an all-in-one interface. Excuse me, my character really is tiny. But a all-in-one interface that's coming out for Battlefield 4, Hardline, and Battlefield 1. Theoretically, the rumors that have been coming out about the beta program is that if you are in a Battlefield 4 game and you're like, you know what, I don't want to play Battlefield 4 at the moment, but I really want to play Battlefield Hardline, you can jump straight from one game to another without ever leaving the same squad. The entire squad can make the jump together. Or if you guys are playing Battlefield 4 and Battlefield on the night of Battlefield 1 launch, you just switch games. There you go. You didn't ever need to leave the squad. Your entire squad transfers over to Battlefield 1. Next thing you know, everybody's playing Battlefield 1 right off the get-go, all together. Don't have to wait for everybody to squad up.
When are we expecting to see this?
Rumors. Still, it's in pre-release still. They still haven't come out with an announcement, but most people are saying that they're expecting at least a month, maybe 2 months before Battlefield 1. Absolute worst case scenario, I would wager, would be they release it with 1. And the only reason why I say absolute worst case scenario is because of the fact that, well,
they might need to have Battlefield 1 out before they can integrate it into their interface.
That, and also the fact that it's kind of hard to troubleshoot something. If they may want to troubleshoot it all in one bundle, which could be a new bag of snakes.
Okay.
If it works beautifully, could be quite entertaining because you could jump between games flawlessly, according to the article.
You gotta remember what thing you're talking about, and it's Battlefield Broken.
Yeah.
They might as well just rename it Broken Field.
Yeah.
But it's a good game, then.
Now, what were you...
but I'd rather...
You were telling me something about you might have to have a digital copy for this to work, or is it going to be a completely different downloadable application? I mean, because I've got Battlefield 4, on disk. Is it still going to be able to understand? Okay.
I theorize. There's a possibility that it may be a separate UI, user interface, and if you wanted to switch between Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 and you want discs, you may have to switch out the discs before, well, you'd probably have to switch out the discs anyways, and before Battlefield 1 would load, but it would make sense that this would be a separate UI in order to accept discs. But it also could be that it is I theorize that it is probably going to be either a free interface with the games being, so to speak, DLC. There's plenty of interfaces on PC, but this may be the first time we'd see it ever on console.
Right.
Because anybody that's tuned in that's a veteran PC player is familiar with a program called Steam. When it first came out, most people looked at it and thought it was atrocious and a nightmare, but it's become a staple of the PC community. But also at the same time, it's not a game itself. It is the interface. It's an interface for your games and a social networking platform.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for that, because that definitely sounds interesting. Now, on another topic, you were telling me about this solar-powered airplane. What's that all about?
Yes, it's a solar-powered unmanned airplane named the Solar Impulse 2. Sorry, I almost forgot there was a second one. All the way back on March 9th, it started its flight around the world.
So this doesn't have any fuel or anything. It's
all solar power, all battery. During the night, it's battery during the...
Okay. Solar power during the day, battery at night. Okay, I'm tracking.
Oh.
That is pretty cool. Where is it now?
It has just finished the flight from New York to Seville, Spain, which was a unfortunate deviation because they wanted to go from New York to Paris following the Charles Lindbergh flight.
Mm.
So unfortunately, they did get deviated.
Chan, is there a way where you could track the progress of the...
Unfortunately, no, not to my knowledge, because of the fact that this bird has been flying intermittently. Most of the time, its flights are like 20 hours or less. Its two longest legs that it's had was from Nanjing, China to Nagoya, Japan, which is 1 day, 20 hours. And then they had a Nagoya to Hawaii, which is 4 days, 21 hours and 52 minutes. They, crossing the Pacific is a long thing, and they had to sit and wait for quite a while before they could get a clear enough weather to make that crossing.
Well, that is a cool concept, Especially with the whole effort of trying to go green and, get our dependence away from fossil fuels. And I'm glad to see that.
The other thing that to me is fascinating about this bird is it has 4 props. It has a 4 props, a 72-meter wingspan. I'm terrible at converting that, but it's wider than a 747 by about 4 meters.
I imagine it would have to be pretty big if it's going to catch that much solar power.
And each of the rotors of the electric motors, the blades, are 4 meters long.
Huh. Well, thank you, Jan. That's interesting.
Long. Now going back to fossil and Canada news, corporation. If people don't know what it is a major pipeline, underground pipeline transportation. It transports crude oil, natural gas. Some lines are used storage, but they are the ones that proposed the Keystone XL pipeline. I don't even know how long it was, but the U.S. How do I put this? I'm trying to be as nice as possible, but rejected it. Objected it.
Yeah, we done fucked up.
Yes. And TransCanada now has they've moved forward to a 15 billion compensation under the North American Free Trade Agreement. In rejecting the Keystone Pipeline, they filed last again, and this is the third time they filed. And the main reason why the U.S. has rejected it is because of climate change. Yeah,
Climate change?
Don't know much of. Yep, I think it's gonna climate. These lines are pound. They are safer than transport truck, natural gas, or oil. I don't know how many derailments there's been in the last year that are hauling. You know, we just had our last, and you pretty much have to dig up all that ground, that oil spills. Pretty much to dispose of the oil. Yes, pipelines do.
Accidents happen.
Not all.
I mean,
yeah, and you know, the older, you know, they do everything else. You know, compared to old lines to bring the integrity of that pipeline up to standard. I've also put in the ground. These just aren't for profit. They help the economy. They provide jobs. I don't know why Obama would reject such a prosperous opportunity for people to get and do something for their country. Like Canada already will build it. They're gonna what?
There's been a big debate, Jer, regarding the natural resource thing over here in the States, and yeah.
But the thing is, natural resource states. I'm not high as 95%, maybe 7% of state natural gas. And when I say natural gas, I could probably just call it petroleum and petroleum byproducts, because everything comes from oil.
Right.
Everything comes from the oil sands or crude oil, that comes up out of the ground. But I want to say 75 to 80% of the United States oil comes from Canada. Of petroleum, let's call it petroleum, comes from Canada. There's maps on the internet. I don't have the address right handy here, but I'm 2 hours away from what they call Chemical Valley in Sarnia, Ontario, where if they shut Dawn Station off, the northeastern part of the United States would not have gas. Sorry, Chan, but you wouldn't.
And that's that's part of the big debate in the United States to start developing our own, natural resource production here. So we're not relying on foreign countries. Because if, like you said, if you so wanted to, cut off a major source of natural gas and oil to the States, I mean, if you were to do that, where would we be? And I think personally it's a matter of national security to be less reliant on foreign countries for providing our natural resources. I mean, personally, I think I'm tired of being held hostage by OPEC nations like Saudi Arabia or Venezuela, who are frenemies to the United States at best. I mean, they pretend to be our friends, but if they really wanted to tinker with the price of oil globally from an economic standpoint, they could. And, we can't power our military or our war machine or for national defense if we don't have oil. I mean, that's a big, highly debated issue here.
And that's the thing, we have this minister, I don't even know what she's, a minister of national resources, or she's a of something like that. It's cut back on gas use. Well, I bet you any money takes a bus to work, or her house with, or electric, you need the electric to your house, which is a generator, probably runs on some kind of, like, a bitch wants to fucking cut out, she might as well quit her. She's not gonna go anywhere. She's gonna sit her ass off in the wintertime when it's in fucking Ottawa.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't. Yeah. That's what all these fucking tree huggers. Like Greenpeace. Go test these. Guess what they're in? Gas. What's plastic and oil?
Yeah, I need fucking plastic bottles to spit my my Copenhagen into.
If
that's important.
If they were out of everybody's life, you wouldn't be able to live.
Not as we know it today.
Well, you guys sit tight up there in the Great Wet North, because we're about to have a political regime change come November. So maybe.
Yeah, that's another thing. I was see what happens with this line.
If Hillary,
I'd like to see one of the.
If Hillary gets elected, Jared, then more of the same horseshit. But if we get a conservative government going, then I think the oil issue between you and you guys would be different.
On this, I'm going to call it a lawsuit, and wait and see what happens in the next U.S. election to see, maybe the next guy a little better. He'll have a fucking head on his shoulders. I'm actually sorry, but I am sorry if I did it tonight. And if I did offend anybody, a big Canadian sorry to all of you.
and you know what that means.
Oh.
Well,
he really loves them.
Well, speaking of Canadian sorries, and if we want to talk about people getting upset, did you guys happen to check the comment that community member Jackie the Ripper posted regarding the Brexit vote that went down in the UK? I'll read it for you. I say good riddance to the EU and its nonsense. Yes, our markets will move erratically for a tick as they respond to uncertainty and fear-mongering. However, the bigger issues are at hand, such as freedom to make stronger trade deals and spend our resources presently being spent through EU membership in the UK to the advantage of our citizens, something towards the sum of £350 million a week just to be in the EU. We finally get to see a dismantling of a jumbled mess of costly laws passed down by an arguably undemocratically appointed EU official, whose laws by the nature of the EU regularly violate the sovereignty by superseding legislation passed by elected members of our parliament. Moreover, and most importantly, freedom to control our national borders, regenerate our fisheries, and save the national healthcare system from the EU threat to undermine it by harmonizing healthcare across the EU, and reduce welfare payments to non-UK EU citizens. And finally, the freedom to restore British customs and traditions, because we are told flying St. George's Cross, that's the flag of England specifically, guys, and the Union flag, that's the flag of the United Kingdom, those are two different things, is an act of racism. Honestly, you Texas boys, because she was talking to one of us, you Texas boys wouldn't stand for it for a moment if any power in the world told you that flying the Texas flag was an act of racism and therefore must be taken down and not flown in the state of Texas because the illegals coming across from Mexico find it offensive. We also don't feel the EU has a right to force us to provide British military forces towards the construction of a proposed EU army, all because most of the members of the EU have an absolutely pathetic military presence in the world and are intimidated by other powers such as Russia, meaning the EU will protect its interests with British blood more than any other. I mean, she goes on to say she's tired of being held hostage in her own country. That is an intense statement. And I think a lot of that is coming from a bunch of people saying things like populism is starting to rule in England and that they're upset that some people are upset that they voted to actually leave the EU. But I think those are all valid points. Being able to decide that you want to close your own borders is a big deal. Not being forced to take on anybody the EU tells you that you need to take on to add to your pool of citizens. Because terrorism is a big threat in the world today. And being told that you need to take all these refugees, we don't know who they are, we don't know where they came from, we don't necessarily know about their background or their political leanings, but guess what? Because you're part of the EU, and the EU practices open borders, you've got to take them, no questions asked. For their own safety, I think it was huge that they voted to leave.
Yeah. And you know what? More countries should follow in their, in my perspective. I'm just saying more countries you need more countries in light of the refugees, you know, like borders are open here for refugees. You know, if somebody from the States said they were a refugee, then they could freely come in. They can't stop them. Christ, I'm thinking about moving out of Canada, going to one of them countries and coming back saying I'm a refugee and I get fucking $500,000 in a friggin' store on the corner. Maybe my own taxi cab.
Thank you, please come again. You're gonna have to work on that.
You gotta put the A in there. You gotta be Canadian now. You know, I think they should let the people decide. Not the government. Let the people decide. Do we let these people, these refugees, into our country, into our communities?
Oh, yeah, because crime, let's not pretend that crime didn't skyrocket after a bunch of those refugees magically got uprooted and put into a new situation. Was it Sweden or Switzerland? I don't remember which country it was, but they had a thing over the new year where they had refugees, group of men, basically wandering the streets, committing riotous acts, and a girl got raped.
Yeah. You know, like, how about helping out families in our own communities, in our own states, in our own counties before we start helping people in other countries?
Well, the fact that they're having to pay for the welfare of EU citizens that weren't part of the UK, that's outrageous. You've got
Or even
citizens in your
UK.
right. You've got citizens in the UK that need that welfare money before random people in the EU, like Greece, who's had to get bailed out by the EU because of their socialist economic practices, have bankrupted that country how many times? Twice? 3 times? And the figure that she used in her comment was something to the tune of £350 million a week. And yeah, I understand their markets are less stable than they used to be, but they're going to recover. And it's going to be something like 2 years before they actually leave the EU. So, hey, here's some investment advice, guys. Invest in the pound while it's low, because they will recover. And that's money in your pocket. Chan, you sound like you've got something to say.
Negative, I got distracted.
Okay, then. Well, we're closing in on 40 minutes here, so there's nothing else, guys. We'll end it here.
No, just try and beat the heat. If you're in a hot, sticky climate like I am here, and the humidity is freaking killer. Today it was up to 40 degrees Celsius. I'm not exact that converts to Fahrenheit off by hand, but it's fucking hot.
Okay. I'm from Texas, Jared. It's always hot.
It has a humidity. I know you're close to the water. You might get some humidity, but it's just fucking terrible. It's a swamp. What the fuck running beside you?
Okay.
But some pipelines in.
Right. Well, hey, if you're interested in being part of the program, we always encourage you to comment. And we actually have somebody commenting right now, but I don't see this individual writing anything else. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll get with you shortly right after this program ends. And if you've got a topic you want to hear us discuss, or and this goes for all of you, if there's something that you want to hear our opinion on, or something that you want to add, please feel free to put that in the comment section, because we do want to hear from you. Your opinion might matter. So, again, check us out at www.rednexclan.com, and check out our friends at DSR too. www.destroysurviveandrebuild.com. And until next time, guys, keep calm and RedNeX on.